everyone, welcome once again back to the eighth episode of Project L.E.A.D. I'm your host, Garrick, one of the vice presidents of the 18th Student Council, and accompanying me is my other co-host, Haaziq. Haaziq, you're muted.
See, I forgot again. Okay, anyways, hi everyone. I'm Haaziq, 18 from a publicity officer from the 18th Student Council. I'm the co-host for today.
So I'd like to once again thank all three panelists for joining us today on this webinar series. So today's episode will feature Nadia, my other fellow vice president from the Student Council, Jolene, the president of the NYAA IG, as well as Aiman, the vice president of the Service Learning Club. Welcome once again. And for today's topic, it will be on communicating your vision. As we all know, vision is something that every organization has, big or small. As we head towards that, and with that comes the responsibility of leaders to communicate the ambition and visions of one's said community. But what is communicating one's vision, and how do these leaders from RP do so? So, for the first question, we shall get the ball rolling with what are the vision of the respective IGs, starting from Nadia from the Student Council.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nadia. I'm the Vice President of the Student Council, and I also like to introduce my school and what course am I in. Alright, so I'm in School of Management and Communications and Diploma in Mass Comm. Okay, for Student Council, I remember one of the first few meetings that we had was the PVP sat down and really thought what vision should we put for the 18th Student Council. So we focused on three things. One, the council to be passionate. Another one, the council to have pride in themselves. And lastly, to have strong relationships with the different schools and also put our image of RP that is strong externally. So in this time where it's a period of the crisis of the pandemic, especially, I feel that our council face a unique challenge, which is having to manage all the events, but in a virtual setting. So this is a unique challenge. It may be slightly different from the previous councils that we had in RP, and I'm definitely sure that the PVPs and everyone together, when we work together, we can make this council a successful one and fly high. Yeah, so that's our vision for student council.
Indeed, agreed. It's definitely true that for every IG and even club, it's important to hold pride in oneself, regardless of what type of club or what activities that you do. So next we have Jolene.
So, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So basically, our main goals, it's similar to Nadia. So in NYAA we also sat down at the beginning of the year as the PVPs, and we just discussed, what are the different visions we want for our IG. So for those who doesn't really know what NYAA is about, basically NYAA stands for National Youth Achievement Award. So if you guys also don't know, there's this award that the poly students usually aim for. So there's bronze, silver, and gold. So for in the poly, we usually aim for gold. So for all of the subcoms that actually join our IG, we basically try to help them achieve the gold award. So one of the main visions for NYAA IG is, of course, to help as many of our subcoms to achieve the gold award at the end of their journey. So the thing about NYAA is basically there's four components to the award. So basically there's healthy living. So healthy living is basically like you try to work out continuously over a span of a couple months. Then we have outdoor appreciation. So outdoor appreciation can be like hiking, high elements and all that. Then next we have the CLIPS project. So CLIPS stands for Community Leadership Initiative Project. It's a long name, but basically what we do is we give the teams we assign teams within our IG, and we let them take control of a community event, and basically they'll plan that. And the last one is service learning. So basically what our IG does is our vision is basically to help all of our subcoms to hit and achieve each of these four different components so that as many of them can achieve the award. Another vision of ours is that we can have a closer exco and subcom relationship. So, I feel like generally, right, like within interest groups, some interest groups, of course, are different, but sometimes there tends to be like that exco subcom barrier, and it makes it really hard to like communicate between each other. So the PVPs and I just felt like this is something that we really wanted to work on this year, and we wanted them to feel really comfortable with the exco so that they won't hesitate to like clarify any doubts, because NYAA, there's like a whole bunch of different questions they can ask, so it's really important that they can understand how NYAA works so that they can also help the other vision, which is to help them like get the award. Yeah, so like Nadia said, it's much harder now because of COVID, to interact with the subcoms. So yeah, my excos and I, we've been trying to come up with different means of interactions with them, even though it's all online. So like, for example, like we can split up into mentor groups, and then sometimes we play like Scribblo, and like, we just have like a little chill session. And okay, so the last vision that we have is basically for our students to grow as individuals and as leaders through exposure through the 4 different components. So the thing about like the 4 different components, it's so different, compared to each other, and it just helps our students to like grow in different ways, if you get what I mean. So like, especially for the CLIPS project, the community leadership project. So like, for example, they may plan a carnival or something. So like these kinds of exposure just helps our students basically, grow as better leaders, give them chances for them to step out of their comfort zones. Yeah. So that's some of the visions that we have.
Agreed. Some really interesting points about being a foundation base for your students and your members to grow as leaders. And vision also helps not only to create a closer relationship between Exco and the subcommittees, but also allow for you guys to really go further in the long run. So next up we have Aiman.
Yep. Hello. Hi. Yep. So for me, right, as the vice president of the Service Learning Club, what I feel is that the words and phrases might differ from the past few batches, but I think the core message, the core vision that we have always been the same, which is to build our club wants to build a community of passionate service learners who wants to of course give back to the community, while at the same time also being able to learn different kind of different essential soft skills and attributes such as leadership and all that. So we aim to similar to what Jolene said. Instead of for them they have the 4 components, but for us we are more directed towards our causes. So for example, we have children and family, environment, elderly, and special needs. So through these 4 causes that our members and our ESCOs are all interested in, right? From then we ourselves we plan to engage different kinds of events or campaigns um to a similar degree, and try to execute them. So at the same time, right, while they are also growing on their like example leadership skills and communication, so forth, it also at the same time also helps to strengthen the bond between us and them. So it's kind of like a win-win situation for us. Yeah. So I think this vision of like just to reiterate, building a community of service learners that also builds on their interpersonal and also leadership or many other skills is a vision that we have as SLC. Yep.
A great point brought up by Aiman, sorry, is about nurturing leadership and always strengthening the bonds between all the members in your IGA. So that's a really great point. Wouldn't you agree, Haaziq?
Of course, I think when you have a vision, obviously you wanna ensure that the future comms and the future committee that is coming in will also share the same vision. So to add on that, right? I'm actually kind of curious. So what are you most proud of in 2019? Can you build on that accomplishment this year?
I think one of the moments that I'm most proud of in 2019 is actually being able to quickly adapt and switch up my studying style, because I realized in semester 1 I'm be focusing a lot on quantity. So what I mean by that is I keep doing a lot of papers but don't really learn anything much from them. Then because of that, in a way I didn't get the results that I expected. So what I did in semester 2 was that I tried to slowly relax my studying schedule and try to reorganize them better. So I think that skill that one important skill that I learned throughout in 2019 is probably being able to adapt. So I think how I want to build on that accomplishment, while it might not be really it might not really be an academic accomplishment, right? I'm trying to build on this skill and try to impart it on, of course, IG context, SLC. So as you all know, COVID is, we are going through this times where most of us, most of IGs currently still have to organize their engagement sessions online. So I think having the skill and trying to build upon the skill of being able to adapt to this is probably one of my goals for this year. Yeah.
I see. I think it is a good way that you already have like experienced how to adapt. So now you can actually apply what you have learned previously and adapt to the situation currently because of the pandemic. All right. What about Jolene?
Oh, testing. Okay, yeah. So, my experience is a bit different from Aiman, but the concept is the same about adaptation. So, let me bring up something in 2019. Is so last time. So as I mentioned just now, in NYAA, basically we have the Clips project. So the projects where we give a group of students a team, and basically they will plan events like carnivals. So in my case, my team was given this carnival called Inclusive Play. And so the idea, the summarized background of this carnival is basically it's for my team to come up with a bunch of games. And the thing is that it's quite hard because it was for special needs children. So we had to take that consideration, really carefully. The thing about this whole event is that there was so many last minute changes, so many things added on because of the haze situation in Singapore. So there was like a lot of shift in the logistics and all of these things. So there was a lot of adaptation that my entire team had to undergo. And I think the main thing that I was proud of about this event was actually on the day itself. So on the day itself, the organizers basically told us that there's going to we had to basically conduct this baby race among the children, and like they gave us really vague instructions, so it was quite hard for us to wait, what's going on. So basically my entire team was busy taking care of the different game booths, and I was like the only one free. And so basically our boss, basically, she came to me and she was like, "Oh, Jolene, can you take charge of this baby race?" And I was like, "Okay." So it was like a really last minute thing thrown at my way. And basically I used to be really shy. Like I wouldn't just take a mic and be like, "Hey, so yeah, so that was like the chance for me to I just told myself, for the sake of the program to flow as smoothly as possible, I have to do this. So I took the mic and I just I just did the instructions that I knew roughly. And so in the end, the whole event went through really smoothly. And basically yeah, this whole experience really brought up a side of confidence within me that I didn't even know I had. So I feel like I can apply this to this year as president. Like being president is of course it's new for all of us here, where we're all given a new leadership position, and we're going to be threading through very new waters. And on top of that, now we have COVID-19. And so leading on to stepping out of our comfort zone and experiencing things that are awkward but you have to do. So now the awkward thing is that everything is online, and interacting with your subcoms online is so awkward. But in times like this, as a leader, you have to just push that awkward thought away and just be as interactive as possible, because that's the only way we can interact with our students now. And I think yeah, that's something that I have learned last year, and I'm trying to apply it this year, and trying to come up with new ways to be creative to engage my subcoms. And yeah, so yeah.
I guess I 100% agree, because I feel like when you are in an IG instances, you'll be thrown situations will be thrown at you, and then you have to get out of your comfort zone. And at times when you get off your comfort zone, you'll be like, "Oh, this is so new to me. I don't even know what to do." So I feel like even for this project lead, I'm coming out of my comfort zone and I'm speaking in front of an audience. And I feel like despite the awkwardness and the kind of shyness that I had, I feel like it actually opened a lot of opportunities for me. So I can really relate to that. Okay, Nadia?
Okay, so 2019, a year before COVID, man, do you remember it? So aside from that, 2019 was the year that I really felt I made meaningful relationships with my friends. So when I came to RP, I think the change of environment and I think meeting new people, right? The relationship I fostered with my close group of friends, with my besties, right, was something that I took pride in because we were kind of quite close and we kind of listened to each other and it made an impact on my life because I had fun with them, and something that I really didn't enjoy before, and I was blessed enough to have that relationship with them. So that was something that I was very proud, and I never take for granted meaningful relationships. So applying it to this year and as VP handling student council, I think together with my other PPs and my president, I wish like we can do is make meaningful relationship with the whole student council and ultimately to the rest of the school. So I think for our subcoms this year, they are mostly year ones and they didn't really have an orientation and they just came to RP virtually and be like, okay, it's kind of awkward here. So really trying to create a very safe and comfortable environment while uh, addressing like different topics to the year ones. I feel that I want to build that relationship with them. So whenever I text them for like joining different events, I feel that I really have to make an extra effort to connect with them on that level and really have empathy and sit down. Okay, they may be new to this, so how can I make my content approachable and friendly to them? So that is something that I've learned in 2019 and I'm trying to apply it. So my best friends taught me how to make meaningful relationship. So I'm trying to also portray that in the different relationship I have, even if it's a mere stranger, like a random subcom, And ultimately, I think that's how we can glue the council together. And once we have a very strong united council, that's when we go to the one RP committee with the different schools, the 7 different schools and the different clubs. So altogether 12 different clubs and clubs and schools. So that's how we can also extend that connection and really make RP united in the front of COVID in this pandemic. So like orientation is maybe next year, OH is coming next year, and those are the projects that will be doing along with like inclusion and Project Share a Smile. Those are like the different projects that we really need RP students to come together. And I felt that okay, this year's council, let's make strong relationship despite and I think that's a plus one because we're doing it somehow virtually some at the beginning. So if we can manage to pull through and execute that, I think that really says something about how bonded and strong our council is. So yeah, that's my goal that I've achieved in 2019 and I wish to also continue in this year too.
Oh my gosh. So I can't even remember how it was like in 2019 when everybody could actually mingle around with one another because I really miss that and I feel like, it is true. I think one thing that COVID has stripped us away from is the fact that we cannot mingle with our friends and we cannot socialize much. So it definitely makes it more difficult for all of us to, get to know one another, especially now since everything is online. So hopefully through the use of technology and through everyone, cooperating and, just wanting to make connections with one another, we can actually, make that connection and foster that bond so that RP can remain a whole one united one RP. Yeah. Did you agree, Garrick?
Yeah, of course. So we've heard it right here. And really having a vision and a strong hold on that for each and every club and IG really allows for many benefits, ranging from closer bondage, for even a better foundation for leaders to grow, and even like allowing really true leaders to come out from the situation. So the next question is that how do you ensure that every member of your IG shares the common vision the IG is aiming to steer towards? Nadia?
For student council, I guess the excos since the beginning, we've really tried to get them more involved in events. So, for example, after our exco meetings, we have people allocated for the different events. So our vision, if I repeat was to be passionate and strong. So recently, I think yesterday you had a student council bonding camp. So that's when I really saw how our exco really shine through and really become passionate and really took the extra step to lead their subcoms. And I felt, okay, I think it's a bit it's even though it's yesterday and the day before, I felt really really like, oh my god, okay, we are all in these like tough times, but they're taking the extra step to push to be more interactive, to have great like to be have better facilitation skills. And I know most of them was out of their comfort zone, but they was like, okay, never mind, I think let's put this show for these subcoms and really get them to enjoy themselves throughout the day. And some more yesterday was a 12-hour camp, you know. So 9:45 a.m. to 9:45 p.m. Okay, there's breaks and all like lunch and dinner, but it was really taxing for I'm really sure that it was taxing for the excos to really facilitate the whole event. And at the end, when we had appreciation night for the seniors, I really fondly remember like some of the subcoms actually coming up and say that they are what they can see the exco's leadership skills through the different bonding activities. And I was like, oh wow, I was really touched, you know, and heartwarmed. So that's really how I can actually see how our vision pull through is by the testament of like how our excos and subcoms behave and actually execute their events. So aside from excos for subcoms, I feel that even though we didn't have much interaction with them, I feel they are really a bright bunch because they haven't come to RP physically and haven't met us. I mean, they only met us once, and but then they're so willing to be participative. So there's a lot of potential for them, and I'm really excited to see what the subcom has to offer for our different events that we allocate for them, and also towards the council lah. Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. Leaders are really a crucial role in every single club. And it always starts with the top, allowing the leaders to rise to the occasion to really demonstrate what your club and IG represents, so that the ones that are following and the upcoming leaders will always follow in that lead. So next up, we have Jolene.
Yeah. So I'll explain it kind of in the way that Nadia explained. So I'll talk about the excos first. So so like I said, one of the visions is for us to help our all our members, including the excos, achieve the NYAA Gold Award. So basically, just for y'all's information, in case you didn't know, for NYAA to achieve the Gold Award, you have to write up an entire report, basically reflecting on the 4 different components and like when you clock in each of those. So basically, this is like usually the part where most people give up halfway because report writing is like, it's like homework. So this can be quite hard and like the little stumbling block that causes people not to get the award. So something that the PVPs, the VPs and I thought of doing was to set deadlines for our excos to basically submit to our advisors just for them to vet through. So it's not a full completed report, but like, it's just to give them a little nudge so that they start, at least writing a little bit, and so that they don't accumulate, because a lot of people tend to accumulate all of their different events and then they don't reflect on it, and then it's just like a lot of work. So yeah, we've been pushing for people for our excos especially to continuously update their reports. And yeah, so like I said, we set deadlines for that. For the subcoms, so basically what we've done for the vision for our excos to be closer to our subcoms, what we've done during COVID-19 before we could meet them was basically we split ourselves into mentor groups. So basically how the mentor groups work is basically it's like 2 excos to like a group of a couple of subcoms. Yeah. And so basically the purpose of this mentor group is for the excos to continuously, check on this particular group of subcoms so that they're not like, left behind or they don't know what's going on. So this is basically one way that the excos, a measure that we have taken so that we can, continuously teach them how to write the report, what's their progress on the report. Then occasionally, yeah, we'll like hop in and be like, hey guys, don't forget to reflect a little on today's activity, so that they don't accumulate all of these things. And so yeah, another thing is that So now basically we're actually allowed to go on some service learning as long as we split into the respective groups. So for example, usually it's like one exco to, for example, two subcoms. So basically that exco will be in charge of the subcom, that particular subcom for that day. So the good thing about this is that, I mean, of course we have the social distance, but it really gives us a chance to see the subcoms, talk to them, let them have like a sense of belonging, because like online it's all kind of cold, you don't really get to physically meet the person online. So by actually meeting up with them and having the excos who are already they know what's going on in NYAA, it allows the subcoms to talk to us openly. And like so far from the previous outings that we've gone on like hiking and service learning, and so we split into these kinds of groups. And so far, yeah, like they've been really like I was quite surprised, they're actually really friendly, like being like before all of this, they were all, just like a cover on the screen, and it was like all 2D. But now when we see them in real life, we're like, hi! And like, yeah, they're all so far really, really friendly. And it's just really nice to, interact with them. And basically, this will help in our vision to, help us to help them grow as leaders, because as mentors, we'll also help them with their project that they're given to them, like the carnival. And so this helps us to also monitor how they're leading their group, who's a potential future exco member. And this will help with our vision.
Agreed. So NYAA truly has a lot of measures in place to help the whole entire club aim towards reaching their vision, from allowing members to constantly log in a short draft of their reports and allocating excos to subcoms to facilitate better bonding. It really helps to truly create a sense of belonging in that club. And next up, we have Aiman.
No. Right. Okay. So right. So for us, right, we haven't we are so far we have not had I say physical engagement with our own members. But I think we just had like our first face to face ESCO meeting yesterday. So what I think like how do I like ensure that every member of my IG shares the common vision that we are all aiming towards, right? I think one of the ways that we do, since prior to even yesterday, we actually do have meetings, online meetings with each other. So through that, right, we regularly try to communicate. Aside from planning for engagements and all that, right, we also plan to we also try to link whatever that we do in terms of activities, right, back to the causes that we are aiming for. So for example, for August engagement, I was the one that was in charge of it. So I think what I communicated with, what I said to my ESCO was that to my ESCO when they're discussing within their own breakout rooms, right, is to just tell them to have an open discussion with the members and try and tell them about your experience in volunteering, as well as engaging the members to share their own personal volunteering experience. So through this, just by this open discussion, right, all of both the ESCOs and the members, they're all reminded of what SSC is about. So it's about fostering a community of service learners. So that's one of the core items. And yeah, so through these discussions, even take it out, like even if you want to exclude engagement sessions with the members, even within the EXCOs, we do try to impart these same values. And yeah, and I think this is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most effective ways that we have done for this club, at least. Yeah.
I can truly relate to the engagement part. So really, SLC is about fostering a community with one another, and sometimes it's not so much of being a member to one another, but sometimes just being a friend, having an active listening post, having people to really listen to one another and to engage with one another will truly help a club to go far.
Yes, I mean when you wanna achieve something and you wanna communicate with your teammates, it's always good to have like always don't think as if you're talking to your community member or like assigning them work, but instead like think as if you're communicating with your friend, because that definitely increases the bond lah. Okay, so On top of that, right, what are some benefits of sharing or communicating your vision to your own club or IG?
I think I think like one of the biggest benefits that of sharing my vision to my own club and IG, right. You're able to keep your club alive, because you're able to share, you're able to pass the torch down. You're able to say, that this is what we are about. You're not losing your sense of purpose. And I think this is something that is probably almost all other clubs can probably agree, because like what I feel, right, is that when you have a club, just in general context, when you have a club or something, right, you need to have a very strong purpose to pull all of your members together. It's not just the bonds of friendship that ties strongly within the club. It's actually also having a shared sense of purpose. So just like track back, when I was having my August engagement, right, even though like our like when we were just inside our breakout rooms with me and my one other EXCO member, um when I see them, when I see my members, when I was talking to members and I see them personally very engaged, when I ask them, um why would you join, for example, the cause of elderly, and then they all share their own reasons. Some of them are personal, some of them so some of them are personal, some of them, they just like they want to, like, they have a lot of reasons, and this is something that makes me proud, because when soon, next year, when we are all becoming out, when we are outgoing members, right, these members, right, who have the same fire inside them, right, I like to say the wheel of fire. When they have it inside them, right, it really brings the club alive, and it's very important for the future of the club to be successful and prosperous. Yep.
Definitely, I think the fire and the passion inside them will remain, which will lead to better productivity, and also it will be crucial for clubs to exist so as to remain motivated in the future. All right, what about Jolene?
Hello. Yes. So, for me, I guess it's similar to Aiman also. It's really important for IGs, especially, to come together and know what the common goal is. So, like in my case, one of our visions is to for as many people to get the gold award as possible. So if no one knows, that that's the goal, it kind of just defeats the point of the IG. So it's really, really important that they all know the vision, that that's the end goal, and so that everyone has something to work towards. Because if you don't really have like an end goal, you will lose that fire to go on. Because like for NYAA, sometimes it gets really tiring because it's a lot of things that you have to continuously do over a span of like many, many months. So in the case of NYAA, you really have to make sure you have a clear goal at the end, which is to get the gold award. Yeah. So similar to also what Aiman said, it's like key to the survival of the IG. Because basically, if our IG doesn't have an output of a lot of NYAA IG NYAA gold awardees, it just kind of shows that our IG hasn't really been doing well and hasn't been actually helping our students. So like I think having a motivated group of students, knowing that at the end of that their end goal is to get the gold award, it can help us get that particular output that can basically we can publicize this, like for on our Instagram account. We've already done this previously, showing our previous number of people from our IG that managed to get the award. So this will actually help us carry on the IG in a way, because like next year, if there's students that are interested to get the award and like they don't know how to start, and they see that this IG has actually been able to help a bunch of students get the award, it can help us to attract those kinds of students and like reassure them that we've been having successful people actually being able to get the award. And so it's a really good tool to use to for our publicity, to like attract future people to join our IG. Yeah.
Yes, I feel like, when you already set the kind of barrier and set the goal that that is the output that they want to get, they will obviously remain motivated and they will show and set an example, obviously to future like year ones who want to join. And then when they see, oh wow, oh my god, NYAA really like allows students to reach the gold award. So now I also want to join. And then everyone will, continue to promote and publicize the IG. Okay, what about Nadia?
Okay, my points will also be very similar to the previous two, Aiman and Jolene. Following the last point that you said about how it really makes people like interested in your club, like what is the club for? I think it's something that brings the vision actually brings like-minded people together. So, for example, in student council, they were like, oh, so what does student council do? But then you say, okay, your vision is this to actually make RP like united. Then you be like, oh, I want that. I want to be in that journey. I want to be part of that team to really make RP united. So I think vision is very critical because it really sets the purpose of of the group or the IG or the club, and sometimes makes you grounded on what you're doing. So, for example, if you're like after you're writing like a proposal, then the proposal got shot down, then you'll be like, oh my god, demoralized. Maybe the silver lining will be like, okay, there's this sense of what is actually I'm here for, that vision. Okay, do not give up, that kind of thing. So it really sometimes boosts you back to like, okay, let me just not give up and continue what I'm doing. So vision really makes people also, like I said, grounded and also hopeful of like, okay, there's like a light at the end of the tunnel and I'm gonna get there. So other than that, I think it also makes the standard of that council better because everybody is streamlined. Everybody's passion is streamlined to something that I can focus on. And I would like to say the quote like leadership is also about leading people to a common goal. Because that common goal then can be achieved and then there's a next goal and then you can achieve that goal and then like there's multiple goals. So it really makes productivity even better and also really makes the standard a bit better. Like you're achieving all these milestones and all these like uh, milestones and all these goals that really makes the IG successful successful. So yeah, that's my answer.
I think in this instance, like the vision kind of serves as a reminder so that when leaders kind of I feel like failure is actually obviously part of success. So when you actually hit a stop and you just like fall down and just kind of feel, oh no, like do I really like want to continue and stuff, you just have to remind yourself that the vision of the IG is actually to for example like to create foster a community of service learners, or to ensure that you reach the gold award, or to create RP a wholesome and one community. So when you remind yourself of that vision, you actually want to continue to go more and actually serve more. All right. So with that, I think we have actually come to the end of the first segment. Thank you so much for watching, and please continue to watch and leave your questions if you are curious about NYAA about SLC, and also about student council. So yeah, see y'all in about 3 to 5 minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone. So this now we have the second segment where we answer your questions from the chat box. Unfortunately, Jolene's laptop has crashed, so we shall wait for her for a while. But meanwhile, the rest can answer the questions. All right. Okay, Garrick.
Yo, so for the first questions coming from the YouTube comments is, have you all had any disputes among your EXCO members, and how did you guys resolve them? Yeah, take some time to think.
Emma, would you like to go first?
Oh, now it's time for y'all to spill the tea. No, I'm kidding.
No, so far we don't have any disputes. And I hope we can keep to that way. But I feel like maybe I don't like to see disputes as an inherently bad thing. Maybe there's I'd like to see it as an opportunity for us to maybe like strengthen our bond. Maybe because maybe this might be happening because someone has a different point of view or something. So if you're able to, if everyone is like if everyone is like open to each other and you're able to share our thoughts and feelings, right? Then maybe the dispute might be resolved soon, and it might also improve the club's overall model. Yeah.
I agree. Clear communication is key, especially when it comes to conversing with one another in a club. Nadia, would you like to go next?
Okay, so let me spill some tea. Okay, just kidding. So I think for me, the experts are generally, I think, very accommodating, and I think they are very understanding. So generally, there's no disputes among them. Like for my opinion, PvPs wise, I think you're much more closer, and there's a lot of like things to be done, and there's a lot of like expectations to be set. So I think it's not really that disputes, but maybe sometimes misunderstanding, sometimes miscommunications. I think there's something called like a channel to pass through. So like from advisors to PvPs, then to the office bearers, the publicity officer or secretaries. So I think along the way, sometimes the message a bit get lost. It's lost, so it doesn't reach to the intended audience. And when it doesn't reach the intended audience, people we don't deliver in terms we don't deliver on the for example uh the projects that we need to do. So I think in terms of when we face this kind of things, it doesn't necessarily make a dispute, but I think we just learn from it. So we're like, okay, so what went wrong? We just immediately reflect. I think there's a point of reflection where we say, okay, what went wrong? What can be done better? So one thing was that we did was, PvP chat. I think Garrick suggested to put all the important information, just put hashtag important. So whenever we need to retrieve those information, I think in the myriad of messages, we can always go back to the point where, okay, so who and who says this and need to be done by this by a deadline. So I think those points we have improved in terms of communications with one another, and like uh also we have SOPs, like standard operating procedures. So if you don't hit the SOPs, I think it's a bit a lot of things can be pushed back. So there's the consequences to that. So that's why I think we have a high standard on like, okay, you guys have to hit the deadlines and the things so that we can actually progress as a council. We are starting out, the PvPs are starting out, and also the exos are starting out. So we just take our time, we help each other. I think at the end, the baseline is important is that we help each other grow. We reflect on what we have to do and what we can do better. And lastly, we be there for each other. I think at the end of the day, when one person gets scolded, then we were like, okay, I think I'll message one person, like, it's okay, it's all right. We just learn from this, and there's no harm intended. Like the person means the best for you. So I think that's the part where we also grow as human beings. I think also, it's also natural also to occur. Yeah.
Wow, wow, my name has been brought up. But yeah, I definitely agree. Reflection is something that's extremely important, not just in clubs, but really to our own self and our own personal growth as well. So I see Jolene is back.
Welcome back, Jolene.
Yeah. So for me, I won't bring out any names or anything, but so far there hasn't been any big disputes among my exco members. But for myself, I've also so far there hasn't been like any big disputes. But of course, there will be disagreements here and there in anywhere that you work, whether in your class or as exco team. And yeah, so um like of course there has been a lot of disagreements here and there, when different people have different ideas, whose is better than the other, all of these things. And sometimes, so basically how my IG works is that most of my exco members, they have partners. So for example, we have our service learning heads, so there'll be two people who will work together to help us to find service learnings for our subcoms to attend. And so basically, yeah, that's how our exco works. So most of them come in partners. So they will all have to like closely work with each other. And so basically, sometimes, working with a partner, it has its benefits and its disadvantages, because sometimes working with a partner, like the good thing is that they can take away like part of your workload. But the other issue is that you have to work so closely with them. You guys have to make sure you're always on the same page, because at the end of the day, you need a single output that can help your IG, carry forward with its normal, procedures. So I feel like there will always be, like tiny disputes and things like these that happen. It's kind of unavoidable, and that's life, and like the way that usually I would, resolve these kinds of things, or what I would tell my friends to do if they have, disagreements between each other is, it's really, really, really important to talk things out and don't keep it all inside. Because like I noticed like not only my friends, but it's just like a kind of a human kind of uh habit that people do, which is like they keep it all inside and they rent it to another person that is not the person that's causing the problem. So when you rent it to a third party, of course that's okay, it's completely okay, because you can get like a third party's point of view and help you advise on what to do next. But I feel like it's really important that you always, talk it out with the person that you do have the issue with, because keeping it all inside, sometimes the person doesn't even know, that you have this feeling towards them. And it's not healthy to keep it all inside and, gather it up. And like I've made that mistake before, where I gathered it all inside and it just exploded one day. And so I think it's really important for not only exco, like in life with friends, you will always have disagreements because we're all different people. And I think, yeah, because of all these, it's okay to accept sometimes that, we're imperfect, we're not perfect human beings. No one can be perfect, and we all have different flaws. So I think, sometimes, it's really hard to see eye to eye if you don't talk about it with the other person. So I think when you talk it out, it's not really about pointing fingers. It's like you're wrong, I'm right. It's more like, coming to a common ground and, picking up little things from both sides and trying to understand why the other person actually felt upset and why I felt upset. And so there can be, yeah, that common understanding on, why this became a conflict, and how you can resolve it, because it's not going to resolve if you never talk it out. If you keep it all inside, that person's going to continue doing whatever you don't like them doing, or you're gonna like, or like if you switch the tables around, if I wouldn't know if I'm doing something wrong if no one brought it up to me. And sometimes it's like it's a painful pill to swallow, when someone comes to you and tells you your flaws. But I think that that's really important and key as a leader, or even as a person, that you need people to constantly check up on you, like people that care about you. Because like, okay, of course you don't want people who to straight up like be like you suck, because that's not nice. But I'm talking about like for like friends that actually really care about you. Sometimes honesty is really important in a friendship or in leadership, because you need yourself to also know where you've done wrong, or you have to let the person that is pissing you off know where they've been doing that's causing there to be like this conflict. So I think, yeah, that's kind of how I usually work out my conflicts, and how I feel like in leadership, that's really important to break down as many walls as possible, as long as you're comfortable. Of course, don't be mean about it, be as respectful about it. But I feel like that's a really important thing that people have to start normalizing, which is really like speaking out about things that you may you feel that that person could improve on a little bit, because if no one brings it up, you would never know. So yeah, it's really important to know how the other party feels before you act out and gossip about a person, for example. Yeah, so that's what I have to say.
Some fantastic points brought up by Jolene. So honesty, humility, and communication are some really key factors in ensuring that your IG and your clubs can really work smoothly together one another. So it looks like there's more questions. Haaziq?
All right. So the next question is, do you all have a personal vision for your IG? Your own personal vision.
To clarify, right, personal vision in terms of like what me or like the whole council, like
You.
what.
So what is
Mm.
your own vision? Like what do you hope for in your IG? I think what I hope for is to be able to make new bonds with other people that I've just met. So what about yours?
Okay, so for me, I think my personal bond, I think the personal vision or like what I want to do in IG is that I think similar to Haaziq, but more of like really meeting new people and understanding their stories. You know, I think one way is that we meet in a council or in any community, right? Is actually we meet different life stories in the end, so people can just like I think everyone has entered in my life is like all in a crossroads and stuff like that. So I think when understanding people's story, you get to learn more about life, more about what's happening around the world, and it really opens up your mind towards different topics and different issues. So I think once you sit down, like for example, with one of my friends in council, I really get to learn more about them and also about myself. And I think together that's how we grow and mature, and and being part of something also has a sense of belonging. So that's what I feel that everyone I hope that everyone in council and ultimately everyone in RP lah have a sense of belonging in what they enter in, and yeah, have a great have a great journey through that whatever club or whatever society you're in. Yeah.
I agree. I feel like if I'm in an IG, I definitely want to have an amazing journey, right? I think when I plan for stuff and everything, it's really enjoyable, and I'm glad, and I hope that in the future also all of us can actually enjoy the experience that we're having currently. What about the rest, Jolene or Aiman?
So for me, I guess one of my visions is just to have a bonded IG, where everyone is, comfortable with each other, and like there's no like ice, in the room, where you come into the IG and you kind of know everybody. And like for me, my experience in NYAA last year, like it was really nice, because like you could talk to almost everybody. Everybody was really friendly, and like just having that sense, like similar to what Nadia said, it's like a sense of, like, you can have a sense of belonging that way, where like you actually enjoy coming to your CCA, and that changes things, because like when you go to a CCA where it's all cold and you don't know each other, it's really sad. And like no one will want to show up. So it's like, I think it's really important that everyone gets to know each other, and so like basically, yeah, what we've been doing, the excos, like what we've been doing is we've been having hiking sessions and service learning. So like when we meet up in small little groups, we try to mix up the subcoms, mix up the excos, so that we all get to interact with new people, and so that everyone kind of knows everyone roughly. And I think that's really important, because like if you, I mean, of course, there's nothing wrong having your own close group of friends, but I think it's a different feeling when you know everybody and you know a larger group of people, and you don't need to be close with everybody. It's just, it is good to reach out and know everybody, and that like kind of gives you a warmer feeling and a sense of belonging in the IG. And yeah, so I think another vision of mine would be for, okay, so personally, when I first joined NYAA, like I wasn't really that ons person about, like, I would sign up for like a whole bunch of service learnings, like volunteering to help out kids, volunteering to help out the elderly, and all these things. Like they were quite new to me last year, and I haven't like been so active in the community, like volunteering, until I joined NYAA. And actually, like learning from that, I never expected myself to actually feel a sense of like enjoyment like in knowing that I helped out someone and made their day in some way. And I think that I really want all my subcoms and my excos to, experience that feeling of, like enjoying by like the joy of helping, because like sometimes we tend to always focus on ourselves, but like once in a while, when you go out to the community and you see, maybe like you can, when you help out someone else, there's like a new kind of happiness that you feel, that like, wow, I made this person's day. And it just makes your poly life much more meaningful, where that during your poly life, I also like went out to the community, I helped out these people. And I think, in this IG, we give them a lot of opportunities to
Jolene, are you there? Oh
It's
no,
like she's
Jolene, kind of
lagging.
break.
Oh no.
Yeah.
or like shape yourself as a person, as a leader, to go out. Yeah.
Okay, now you can. Yeah, it's good now.
Was I lagging?
A little bit, but it's okay. You can continue.
Okay.
You were, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm roughly done.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So I think I really agree with the fact that you said whenever you feel that you've given back to the community and the happiness kind of hits different and you just feel like, oh my god, okay, I kind of want to do more. And I think that's one of the personal visions that I have as well. Okay, what about Aiman?
I think my vision for this IG is very similar. If not, you can say it's the same as Nadia and Jolin's. In trying to have like having a bonded IG and all. But I think for me, one of my personal like more on a more personal scale, I think what I want to see is that I want to have I want to be able to help my exco members to grow as very effective leaders, and very people who willing to give back to the community, and and many of that. Because because for me, I came from, I had this previous, I was part of this leaders program by YCS, where we had to plan events and all. And my vision for that, where we had to organize events for the elderly. So my vision for that team, right, is is still the same as the vision for my SLC EXCO members. Because I really just want to help them to grow. Ultimately, of course, we do have our, how to say that, our so-called ranks, like for example, the president, vice president, of course. But I think what goes beyond that, right, is really having people that ultimately empower each other, and really helps to grow collectively to become I say productive members of the society. Yep. So I think that with having a bonded IG, and having fun, having a blast and all that, going through roller coasters of ups and downs. These are the things that these are like my vision for my SLC club. Yep.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think when you're a PVP and when you're an OIC of an event, for example, you feel like the people that you work for, I mean, the people that you work with and they are like, your committee and stuff, you feel like you're parents to them and you just want to see them grow and see them, prosper and just become a great leader in the future. All right. I think with that, I think when it comes to communicating your vision is very important because it helps allow your IG to grow or your club to grow, and it helps create everyone to communicate with each other better and remind them that, hey, there's an end goal to reach and that you can reach that end goal and it's possible. Because when you have like PVPs and when you have people to talk to and communicate with and share the vision with everyone, then everyone can have a common goal and something to lead to together. All right, so with that, we've come to the end of the whole Project Lead 1 hour session. Thank you so much to Jolene, Nadia, and Aiman for attending. If the rest of the audience have any more questions, you can feel free to hit us up at RP Student Council social media, Instagram and YouTube. And you can also hit Jolene up on NYAA IG and also Aiman on SLC IG. All right, please tune in to the next episode on 24th September. See y'all. Bye bye.